today we are going to continue our conversation with solving equations, and we're going to focus on multi-step equations with variables on one side. So let's go ahead and kind of look at some steps that we might need to follow to help us out. Okay, and we're going to call these our steps for success. First, you're going to distribute through every set of parentheses. So you're going to eliminate your parentheses by multiplying. Then you're going to combine like terms on the left side of the equation and combine like terms on the right side of the equation, and then collect all the variables on one side, which will already be done for you today, and then solve the remaining equation. Okay, so we're going to start with 1, and then we're going to combine like terms. We're going to skip 4 today, and then do 5 where we solve. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. First step is to eliminate the parentheses. You'll notice in both of these problems that we actually don't have any parentheses to begin with. So we can skip that step. The second step is to combine like terms. So if you notice on the left side of this equation, I don't have anything to combine together. I just have a negative 5. So now I'm going to look at the right side, and when I look at the right side, I notice I have negative 4n and positive 5n. If I combine those together, I get 1n, which is the same as just n. Okay, so in this case, I actually don't have to do anything else to solve. This would be my equation, or my answer for my equation. Okay, B is a little bit different. We're going to have a couple steps in there. So first thing we're going to do is get rid of any parentheses, which we don't have. And then we're going to go ahead and combine like terms. So notice that I have an 8 and a negative 4. So if I combine those together, I actually get positive 4. I'm going to bring down my minus 7k, or my negative 7k, so that I now have a two-step equation. I have negative 7k plus 4 equals negative 24. Go ahead and solve the remaining equations. So we just have a two-step equation like we did yesterday by subtracting 4 from both sides, so that we get negative 7k equals negative 28. And then divide by negative 7 on both sides, watch your signs, to get k equals positive 4. Remember, negative divided by negative is a positive. Okay? So first two types of problems, or first two problems here, we didn't actually have to eliminate the parentheses. All we had to do was combine like terms and then solve the remaining equation. In the next two problems, you'll notice we have parentheses there. So we are going to go ahead and use the distributive property to eliminate those parentheses. So for A, we are going to distribute our 7 to both parts. So 7 times 2x is 14x, and 7 times 5 is 35. And that equals 119. So remember to multiply both of them by 7, and then after that, see if you can combine like terms. I cannot combine 14x and 35 together because one has an x and the other one doesn't. So I'm just going to go ahead and solve the equation that's remaining by subtracting 35 from both sides. Okay, so I'm left with 14x equals, and then 119 minus 35 is 84. Okay, one more step, we're going to divide by 14 on both sides, using those inverse operations that we've been talking about. And then 84 divided by 14 is actually 6. So we get x equals 6 here. Okay. If we go ahead and do B, similar process here. Distribute first. Be extremely careful with your signs when you distribute. So negative 7 times 1 is negative 7. Negative 7 times negative 5 is positive 35. And then we have an x there. We're going to bring down our plus 8 and our 281 equals. And then we're going to go ahead and see if we can combine any like terms here. So notice on the right side this time, okay, left side can't do anything. On the right side I have a negative 7 and a positive 8. If I combine those together, negative 7 plus 8 gives me 1. So I have 35x plus 1 on the right side. Once we get to this point, we have a two-step equation. So subtract 1 from both sides. You get 280 equals 35x. Those cancel. And then divide by 35. So 280 divided by 35 gives me 8. Okay, 8 equals x, or x equals 8. Either one works. I like to bring my variables straight down so I don't have a bad habit going on. Okay? So those are your 4 problems explaining or showing how to solve multi-step equations with variables on one side. I want you to try these 4 problems here. Notice there's a fraction in one of them, so remember to eliminate your fraction if you can. But try these 4 problems, have them checked, and then once you've finished and had them checked and you're good, go on to the next example. Okay, you'll remember in the last lesson we also talked about 1.3, which is justifying each step. And we had some algebraic properties, so we could simplify by combining like terms. We could use the distributive property. We could simplify or reduce fractions. And then we had the addition property of equality, subtraction property of equality, multiplication property of equality, and division property of equality. We're going to use those this time to justify each of our steps. Okay, so for our first step here, on the left side, we have x minus 5/3 x equals 11. I want to get rid of those fractions. It's 11/6, not 11. So what I'm going to do is multiply everything by 6. Okay, and the reason I'm going to multiply everything by 6 is because I can divide 6 by 3 and 6. So we're going to do 6 times here, 6 times there, and 6 times there. Okay, so 6 times x is 6x. In the second one, 3 goes into 6 twice, so I can multiply. 2 times 5, x is 10x. And then on the right side, my 6's actually cancel, so I have an 11. And if I need to justify that step, remember it's the multiplication property of equality, because we're multiplying by the same number on both sides. Okay, after that, we need to look at our left side. Actually, look at both sides, see if you can get rid of any parentheses. Since we can't, we're actually going to combine these two together. So 6x minus 10x is negative 4x. And that equals 11. Okay, so that was just combined like terms. Okay, and then my last step is to get the x by itself. And to do that, I'm going to go ahead and divide by negative 4 on both sides. Now, if your original problem has fractions in it, I would like for your answer to have fractions in it, unless it's a whole number. If your original problem has decimals in it, then you can give me decimals as an answer. Okay. Our last step here had division property of equality. We divided on both sides. So we're going to justify that as well. Okay. And so here's our final answer. And we had 3 steps that we justified. Okay, let's look at B. We are going to start by distributing, get rid of the parentheses. Be really careful with your signs here because we actually have a negative 8 up front. So we're going to go ahead and distribute negative 8. So negative 8 times negative 2 is positive 16. Negative 8 times 2 is negative 16, and then we have a p there. And that equals 118. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and look at my left side here and see if I can combine like terms. Remember that there's a 1 in front of that p since there's nothing there. So negative 1p and negative 16p is negative 17p plus 16 equals 118. Now, all we have to do, actually, we need to justify some steps here. So first step was the distributive property. And then we combine like terms. Okay, now let's go ahead and solve. Apologize, forgot about my steps there. Okay, we're going to solve. So we're going to subtract 16 from both sides. So we get negative 17p equals 102. Continue this line down there. So this was the subtraction property of equality. Okay, we subtracted on both sides. Then we're going to divide by negative 17 on both sides to get p equals 102 divided by negative 17, which is negative 6. So this is going to be division property of equality. Okay. So not too bad. We're just going to have to add our justification in there. Again, 2 problems, went through both of them. Same process as the previous examples. The only difference is you have to give me your properties to justify. I want you to try these next 2 guided practice problems, have them checked, and once you are done, and had them checked, you will get your homework. Just to recap, we started today solving multi-step equations with variables on one side. So you have a homework assignment over that. And then our next video, our next lesson, is going to be multi-step equations with variables on both sides. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. We are here to help you out, so speak up. If not, work through those guided practice problems and let us know when you finish. Have a great day.